as families will pay more. Top bin firm, and that bin firm is City Bin, where somebody connected with that says, no, you will be paying. Shane Byrne joins us from AWD. Good morning, Shane.
Good morning, Dick.
Have you met Simon Coveney?
No, but, well, the IWMA has, who I'm a member of, and on behalf of our association, they've met him. And what we've done is we've put a proposal in which they're debating today, which good man from the Indo was talking about there, is that we're proposing that for people who are on account, that what they're getting charged right now, this minute, we're guaranteeing that there'll be no increase in your charges. As long as you don't double the weights that you're putting out, there'll be no extra charge. So people have the comfort that what they paid over the last 12 months, they'll pay again the same for the next 12 months. And that's the key to all of this. And then what we'll do is, during it, if it's accepted, we'll run a parallel bill with you that will show you what, if you are on pay by weight, what the costs would be, so that you can adjust if you need to adjust, if you need to see that your waste charges are too high, that I need to recycle a little bit more. You'll be able to see that, so that come July 1st next year, when it comes in proper, that you'll be ready for it and you'll be well educated. The problem is that with the waste industry, remember, this wasn't our idea. We're being instructed to do this. We've no choice but to do these things. And the lack of information that's been going out there to people is terrible, in the sense that it's at the stage now where, people creeping up on them. It's around the corner and they're being told this and that. And you're hearing from Dublin, and it is mainly a Dublin, where you're hearing that the standing charges have increased 100%, 200%. That's because of a thing called below cost selling, which they were doing, a couple of companies were doing up in Dublin. And the legislation doesn't allow that anymore. The legislation now has it that you have to pay for exactly what you put out. The polluter pays. And they're seeing true charges for the first time, and it's causing absolute chaos.
Because people have an opinion that people have their waste collected over the last while, and then suddenly, because there's a change in regulations of a different way of calculating it from July the 1st, suddenly they're hearing 80%, 110%, 200% increases, just because you're
that's not true.
Just because you're calculating it differently.
Okay, well look, let's just break it down this way. The way it's working now is that, the way it used to work is that you had a charge for the year. Now I'm talking to all the people in the Wicklow area mainly, is that you had a charge for the year, and everything that was involved in that, the recycling, the waste, the service charge, everything was rolled into one, and it was just presented to whatever way that the market dictated that would be attractive to the customer. But the new legislation has it now that we're not allowed to do that anymore. We have to separate our service charge, show you what the service charge is. That's what it'll cost us to be able to keep driving down your road. And the rest is up to you. Every single charge after that is completely up to you. It's how much waste you put in or out. It's how much recycling you put out. And there's all different charges for that. And the idea it's sound, the concept behind it is simply that we need to change the way we manage our waste. You can't just keep putting it in. You can't be that person that, as we see often, is jumping off the wall into the bin to try to fit more into it. Those days are gone. You need to recycle. You need to, if you're able to use a brown bin, you need to use.
But lots of people have just paid for what was in the bin, and it wasn't based on it was based on the waste they put in their bag, and it certainly in Dublin was that. I'm with Panda, for example, and everything is told.
Sorry to interrupt you there. There's a few areas around the country. There's a few areas up in Leeds from Cavan, down in Cork, parts of Dunleary Rathdown, that basically they are already doing this. They're already doing pay by weight, and that's part of where we are at the moment. There's some people that this July 1st makes no difference to us.
But hold on. Can I just tell you there that it might make difference, because each kilo, by the sound of it, is going to go up, and each aspect of that is just going to accelerate in price.
We have used a standard of that if you are an average user, which is putting out about 400 kilos of waste About 150 kilos of brown if you have it available to yourself, and about 200 to 300 kilos of recycling. If you are in that bracket, with our prices anyway, and goes for most of the IWMA members, who most of the waste industry is in it, your charges pretty much won't change. They will be roughly the same. Now, each company charges slightly different. Some have the service charge higher, but the rate they charge you per kilo is lower, and some have it higher and the service charge is lower. That's the key to it. You need to see what it will be multiplied out. The problem is that companies, because of the legislation, is telling us we have to take your service charge out. That's what we have. We have to price for the situation where you all do fantastic recycling, and then we drive down a road and nobody has the bin out because everybody's doing 100% recycling. And so we need to put a cost that we can still offer you that service, that we can still drive down the road to make sure that any bin that is out we can pick up. The worst case scenario, we need to have that. And then the price per kilo, that's up to you. Like, it's set by us, but the amount you put out is completely up to you. And we can't dictate that. That could be any price from...
Okay, do you charge for green bin? Do you charge for green bin, and will you be charging for green bin?
No. Recycling now is free.
And will remain free?
Now let me say that. If by choice it was free, the whole debate and debacle that was about the recycling, that was farcical. That was based on Dublin. You know, that was a whole Dublin thing. For the majority of the country, everybody paid for recycling because there's only about 3 companies in the country that can make recycling a product. For the rest of it's the cost. We have to, never mind the collection costs of all that, and when we get it, we then have to bring it to a different company and pay them to take the recycling off us. But as part of our package, because we listen to what's going on, we are offering recycling free from now on as part of our pay-by-waste. In
a way, then, for the viability of your company, you need people to put out waste, put out black waste, don't you?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we've invested.
All that entails.
We've invested. It's about €20,000 per vehicle that's on the road to get all this weighing systems up and running. And, you know, that's all the investment that the waste industry has put into this, but that's no comfort to anybody out there. The whole reason this legislation is put together, and as I say to you again, this wasn't our idea. We were made do this, is that people have to change the way they manage their waste. You need to reduce what's going on. And the lack of information that's come from on high is dire in this, and it's been a major, major frustration for us. And therefore, if they haven't put it out, we haven't been able to put anything out, because we still have questions about it as well that we're only now getting. And there's a couple of things that need to be said here, and specifically to the southeast, is that if you don't have an account with a waste company, you need to get an account now. There's no option in that. Secondly, if you use a bag, they're trying to get rid of bags completely, out of the legislation, trying to get rid of them. So if you're in a situation that if you cannot use a wheelie bin, you need to get in touch with the waste company now. And in Wicklow, in fairness to Wicklow County Council, they've been absolutely trailblazers in this. They're now going to take on that they will assess. You get in touch with them and they will assess whether you are eligible for an exemption or not. Now, the problem is we fought very hard for this as well, but it looks like if the government pass, except today what's been suggested, the tag looks like it's going to be gone. And we've tried so hard to hold on to it, but it looks like it's going to be gone. So people need to be aware of this. Get in touch with us if you're a tag customer. Everything's going to change once we get that going.
Okay, and just on the wheelie bins...
It doesn't necessarily mean that your prices are going to go up. That's not the way it is. We have different bands for different people. We have bands for people who are light users, heavy users, normal users, people who put the bin out once every 6 weeks. We'll have something there that will suit you. But you need to get in touch, because this is something that hasn't been communicated from on high. Everybody has to have an account. Everybody.
Okay. Listener wants to know how you ensure you're being charged for the correct weight, and also the bins.
That's a good question.
And the bins are not lockable bins, and they'd be afraid of people putting stuff in overnight or something like that. And also the lids mightn't be that good, so there'd be rats and there'd be water and there'd be all sorts of problems going up.
Okay, couple of things there. Okay, first and foremost with the lock bin, you can get locks for your bin. If you think you're in an area that is susceptible for people doing that, you can get a lock-free bins. That's first and foremost. The bins remain property of the waste company that provides you the service. So if you have a crocked bin with the lid not good enough, you tell them, you get another bin. Okay? So that will solve that problem. What was the first one?
How can you actually ensure that you're being, charged correctly for the waste?
That's it. So this is all through the legislation. All our trucks have to be certified. We've already had the council down to us testing all our vehicles. This is an industry standard. You cannot vary with this. That is something that is absolutely 100%. They do varying tests to get your truck certified, and then it's not something that once it's certified, it just goes on. Once your truck is certified, they can come at any time just to check it, and that's the way. It's an industry standard that cannot change. The government monitors that via the county councils, and that cannot change. You have to, 1 kilo has to be 1 kilo, particularly because it's not fair on people. Even if it's 0.5, 0.7 out, that's just not right. So that's why we spent so much money putting these systems on the truck, so that is one thing that put people's mind at ease, that this cannot be diddled with. It can't be.
So it's like a petrol pump, is it? Is that the idea? There will be weights and measures. Yeah, but people are just worried about
to the nth degree now. You cannot mess around with these things, because at any point you can be inspected.
All right, and you can get lockable bins. Okay, you've answered that. You've also said you're not happy with that, even though a lot of our text people here are saying, that have a feeling that the other way, that you're imposing this, but you're not fully happy about it either.
No, listen, it's not. It's been diabolical. The Department of the Environment were meant to have a whole education and advertising campaign from January 1st talking about all this, and then it was pushed out to May 18th, and then because the recycling debate all happened, then nothing has come out, and it's been an absolute nightmare. And the problem is that we couldn't get answers either. They just went on complete lockdown, so therefore we couldn't do an advertising campaign because we didn't have answers. Like, for instance, with the bags, we only definitely got answers on that in the last couple of weeks, so we couldn't talk to people. So the one thing for a private company, you can't half-assed get information out there. You have to be able to answer everybody's questions.
And do you think it's going to lead... I get that. It's going to lead to people fly tipping, is it? Going to lead to people burning their own rubbish? That sort of thing?
Yeah, I am concerned about that. There is no doubt about that. But that is people, honestly, they're the people who change the way they deal with their waste. The majority of people will see good out of this. That if you get recycle, if you do what you're meant to do, you will get rewarded for this. If you're somebody who puts potentially a bin out, it used to be every week and now it's every 2 weeks, and if you change that to every once and you miss a lift every now and then, you'll see a huge reward because you're recycling all the things that you're meant to be doing.
Okay, and what about brown bin? Brown bin, Shane?
Yeah, brown bin, if you live in an urban area in Wicklow, brown bin is available. Basically any size of a town. It used to be just the Arklow, Wicklow, places like that. Now it's basically, if you're in any village, any town, you can get a brown bin, and very soon it'll be rolled out to the rest of the county. But that's where we are at the moment. Again,
because it's going to cost you by putting that into your black bin at an enormous price. It's all about taking waste out of the black bin, because if you think about it, our standard is going to be 169 for a service fee. This is the standard. We'll have different variations as well. It's 26 cents per kilo for your waste. Free recycling, so therefore you should really go for that. And the brown bin will be 15. So that's where you need to go. So if you take a kilo out of your waste and you put it into your brown, you're saving 10 cents a kilo. But now, the one thing as well is that we will be watching, so there's a huge amount of more checks going on of people contaminating bins and putting domestic waste into recycling and everything like that. That will be watched. That will be hugely I'm going way over time here, but this is important to an awful lot of people. There's a lot of plastics that you can't recycle. People are very concerned about that. They'll be charged for them in the black bin. And then young families with young kids and nappies and things like that, they weigh a fortune.
Yes. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's one thing with the IWMA, there's one thing I need to say is that people who are carers, who use, say, the incontinence nappies for people that they're caring for. We've offered to the government that we will talk with the HSE, and anybody who has any waste attributed to that, we will, once it's identified, we will pick it up for free, for nothing. There's absolutely zero charge in that, because I think that's the least we can do for these people.
Okay, I hope people are happy with that.
There is no doubt about it.
There's issue with the amount of stuff you can recycle. Yeah, okay.
If people, with the recycling, there's next to, within reason, most plastics can go into our recycling bins. Hard plastic, stuff like that, you've just got to use sense. Anything that can't go, you should be able to bring down to a recycling centre. There is issues with people who have large families and nappies. There is no doubt about that. But talk to your waste company. There are different bans for different prices and different weights. If you're a heavy user and you can't do anything about it, you have a family of 6 and 4 of them and nappies, talk to them. They will have a bracket that will suit your needs.
Okay, and one more.
Remember, sorry, go on.
Sorry, one more. I have a load of bags left. Will I get credit for them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you will.
All right.
There will be a transition period, but if you have anything, if you have a tag or a bag and you are converting over to an account, we'll give you credit against that account, and away you go, and you will be set up. And then, remember, we will run the bill in parallel, and we'll show you exactly what you're going to get charged.
All right, and there's more and more questions coming in. We've got to turn back to it. Let's see what Simon Coveney does.
Anytime, yeah.
And then maybe you can answer some of the questions then. But I think we covered quite a lot this morning. Thanks very much indeed. Shane Byrne there from AWD. And some of the questions there. And I hope that...